Alright, good morning guys, this is episode 49. How do I use proportions? So we use proportions on word problems, and just for pretend, let's say that I'm going to have a party and I'm going to buy everyone Takis. And so I looked online and I can get 25 bags for $20, $19.90. So what if I had to buy 120 bags? How much would that cost? So that's what my word problem here says. A 25 pack of Takis costs $20. How much money would it cost to buy 120 packs? And so first thing we got to do to solve a problem like this, we need to understand what the question is asking. Okay, so if you have color pencils, I'm going to use those, and I'm talking about Takis, a 25 pack, and I'm talking about money. So those are my two ratios, so the two things that I'm talking about. How much would it cost to buy a 120 pack? So I'm looking for how much money do I need to buy. So I'm going to set up my ratio table to figure this out. Okay, so I'm going to start off by writing the information that I know on the table, and I'm going to skip a few lines. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So on the third line, I'm going to write 25 pack will cost $20. And how much will it cost to buy 120 packs? So I'm going to put it down here a little bit. So I'm going to buy 120 packs, and how much money is that going to cost? So the first thing I told you guys in class is to look, can you skip count by what you know to what you need to know? So can I skip count by 25s to reach 120? No, I can't. So if that happens, you got to think about it another way. So let's think about it another way. So I'm going to write down my steps here. I wrote down the question, can you skip count by what you know to find what you need to know? So I know 25 and I want to know 120. Can you skip count? Is 25 times something equal 120? And I'm going to say no, it would be a fraction or a decimal. So if that's the case, you need to think about the ratio another way. You got to simplify it. So instead of 25 and 20, what can I simplify this by? What can I divide both of these numbers by to think about it another way? And so when I look at 25 and 20, I can think I can divide both of these numbers by 5. And 25 divided by 5 is 5. And 20 divided by 5 would be 4. So 5 Takis will cost $4. Okay, so now we need to ask ourselves a question again. So I need to ask myself my original question. Can you skip count by what you know to find what you need to know? Can I skip count by 5s to reach 120? And sometimes you're not going to be sure. So if you're not sure, you're going to have to divide. So I'm pretty sure it will, because 5 ends in a 0, and so it should work out. But I needed to figure out 5 times what equals 120. So I'm going to divide that out. So I'm going to divide 120 divided by 5. Okay, so here's how we're going to use proportions to help us find out what I want to know. A proportion are two equivalent fractions, ratios, and they're about what we know and what we want to know. So I'm going to start off writing my first proportion like this. I'm going to write what I know about one thing. So what I know about Takis over what I know about how much they cost. In my second proportion, I'm going to put over here what I want to know. So I'm going to put over here, this is what I want to know about Takis over what I want to know about how much it's going to cost. So looking at my proportion, what I know is that I know that Takis cost 5 Takis cost $4. Okay? And that's what I know. So I'm going to write 5 Takis over $4. What I want to know is how much would 120 Takis cost? I want to know how much money that's going to cost. Let me move my screen down a little bit. So to figure this out, we said it's going to be times 24. So I'm going to skip count by 5 24 times. So 5 times 24 equals 120. And then I'm going to multiply what is 4 times 24 to find out how much money that would cost. So I'm going to do 24 times 4, that'll be 16, that'll be 8, that'll be 9, so that would cost me $96, and that's going to tell me my answer. Okay, so remember the red we're using for the Takis, so my Takis are going to go on top together, and then the money is going to go on the bottom together. You can also write a proportion going up and down or flipping it. So if you look at your paper like this, you could also write your proportion kind of like a T-chart going up and down, and you could say 120 over 5, and then 96 over 4. Or you can write it and you could say 4, sorry, I know it's getting crazy now. You could say 4 over 5 and 96 over 120. Or you can kind of write it like this, and you could say 5 over 120 and 4 over 96, it all means the same thing. So the thing you got to remember is you need to keep the information together. So these two need to be next to each other, and these blues need to be next to each other, or the reds could be on top and the blues can be on top, but they have to be next to each other for your proportion to work. Okay, we're going to talk about this more in class tomorrow. I hope this was helpful. If you want to check this out, go on IXL AA9 tonight and do some practice about writing proportions.